Village girl accompanies bestie to an interview, mistakenly enters CEO's wife contest. Life changes. Imagine this: a quiet village girl with big dreams, a best friend who drags her into unexpected adventures, and one wrong turn that changes everything. What if the simple act of accompanying someone to an interview could lead you straight into a life-altering contest? One where you're suddenly competing to become the wife of a billionaire CEO. Sounds like the stuff of movies, right? But for Maya, it was real. And trust me, this isn't just about mistaken identities or crazy twists. It's about courage, choices, and how one decision can ripple through your entire life. Maya lived in a small village surrounded by lush green fields and endless skies. Life there was predictable, almost comforting in its simplicity. She spent her days helping her mother at their tiny tea stall, chatting with locals, and dreaming of something more, something she couldn't quite put into words yet. Her best friend since childhood, Priya, was her exact opposite: bold, ambitious, and always chasing opportunities beyond the horizon. While Maya preferred staying grounded, Priya had stars in her eyes and plans to escape the confines of their sleepy little town. They balanced each other perfectly, two halves of the same coin, until fate decided to test that balance in ways neither of them could have imagined. One sunny morning, Priya burst into Maya's house, clutching a crumpled flyer. "Maya, you won't believe this. I got shortlisted for an interview at Global Tech," she exclaimed, practically vibrating with excitement. Global Tech wasn't just any company. It was the kind of multinational giant people dreamed of working for. The headquarters was in the city, far from their village, but Priya didn't care. This was her chance to break free, and she needed Maya by her side. "Come with me," she pleaded. "I'll need moral support. And besides, we haven't been to the city together in ages." At first, Maya hesitated. The city felt intimidating, crowded, and so different from the peaceful rhythm of village life. But Priya had a way of convincing her, and deep down, Maya knew she owed it to herself to step out of her comfort zone every once in a while. So, they packed their bags, boarded a bus, and set off on what seemed like a routine trip. An adventure, sure, but nothing extraordinary. Little did they know, extraordinary was waiting around the corner. The city was overwhelming, buzzing with energy and noise. As they navigated the streets, Maya clung to Priya, trying not to get lost in the sea of unfamiliar faces. When they finally arrived at the sleek glass building housing Global Tech, Maya marveled at its grandeur. It looked like something out of a magazine, all polished surfaces and towering elegance. Priya disappeared inside for her interview, leaving Maya to wait nervously in the lobby. She flipped through magazines, sipped coffee from a vending machine, and tried not to think too hard about whether Priya would land the job. Then came the twist no one saw coming. A woman approached Maya, clipboard in hand, and asked, "Are you here for the Mrs. CEO selection contest?" Maya blinked, confused. "What contest?" she stammered. The woman smiled brightly, explaining that Global Tech's enigmatic CEO, Arjun Rai, was hosting a high-profile event to find his future wife. Apparently, participants were pre-selected based on certain criteria, and Maya matched the profile. Before she could protest, the woman whisked her away, assuring her it was all part of the process. Panic bubbled up inside Maya as she found herself seated among glamorous women, all vying for the attention of a man she'd never even heard of. How had this happened? She wanted to leave, to run back to the safety of the lobby, but something stopped her. Maybe it was curiosity, or maybe it was the niggling thought that sometimes life throws you chances you don't expect. And maybe, just maybe, You're meant to take them. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling that she didn't belong there. Surrounded by women who exuded confidence and sophistication, as the day unfolded, Maya learned more about the mysterious Arjun Rai. He was young, incredibly successful, and notoriously private. Rumors swirled about him. Some said he was charming. Others claimed he was cold and calculating. Whatever the truth, one thing was clear. Being chosen as his wife would mean stepping into a world Maya couldn't even fathom. Cameras flashed, questions flew, and Maya stumbled through interviews, acutely aware of how out of place she felt. Yet, amidst the chaos, there was a strange sense of exhilaration. For the first time, she was forced to confront parts of herself she'd kept hidden, pushed aside in favor of playing it safe. Meanwhile, Priya returned from her interview, triumphant and glowing. When she discovered what had happened to Maya, her reaction was a mix of shock and amusement. "This is insane!" she laughed, shaking her head. "But hey, why not go along with it? You never know where it might lead." Maya wished she shared Priya's optimism. Instead, she felt torn between running away and seeing where this bizarre journey would take her. One thing was certain: her life would never be the same again. The contest continued, each round bringing new challenges and revelations. Maya met contestants who became friends, judges who scrutinized her every move, and glimpses of Arjun Rai himself, always distant, watching silently from the shadows. There were moments of doubt, moments of triumph, and moments when she questioned everything she thought she knew about herself. Through it all, Maya clung to the memory of her village, of the girl she used to be, wondering if she'd lose herself entirely in this whirlwind of luxury and ambition. And then, just when things seemed to settle into a rhythm, another twist. Threw everything off balance. Someone recognized Maya, not as a contestant, but as the girl who ran the tea stall back home. News spread quickly, and soon, whispers filled the air. Was she truly qualified to compete? Had she manipulated her way into the contest? The pressure mounted, threatening to crush her spirit. Yet in the midst of the storm, Maya realized something important. She wasn't fighting just for a title or a wealthy husband. She was fighting for her own identity, for the right to choose her path, no matter how unconventional it might seem. But here's the thing. You don't know what happens next. Does Maya rise above the gossip and prove herself? Does she walk away from the contest altogether, choosing the familiar comforts of her old life? Or does she discover something about herself that changes everything she thought she wanted? That's the question hanging in the air, the tension pulling you forward. Because in the end, this isn't just Maya's story. It's a reflection of anyone who's ever stood at a crossroads, unsure which direction to take. So, stick around, stay tuned, because the next chapter promises answers, surprises, and a deeper dive into the heart of what makes us human. Our choices, our struggles, and the courage to embrace the unknown. As the days turned into weeks, Maya found herself caught in a whirlpool of emotions and expectations. The contest wasn't just about answering questions or walking gracefully across a stage. It was a test of resilience, wit, and authenticity. Each round brought new challenges that pushed her far beyond her comfort zone. From public speaking to solving hypothetical business dilemmas, Maya had to dig deep within herself to keep up with the polished contestants around her. But what set her apart was her honesty. While others rehearsed perfect answers, Maya spoke from the heart, often surprising both the judges and herself. Back home, news of her participation reached the village. At first, people whispered behind closed doors, some supportive, others skeptical. Her mother, though bewildered by the turn of events, stood firmly by her side. "You've always been brave," she told Maya one evening over a crackling phone call. Just remember who you are. Those words echoed in Maya's mind every time doubt crept in. She clung to them like a lifeline, reminding herself that no matter how far she strayed from her roots, her essence remained unchanged. Priya, on the other hand, became an unexpected ally. Though initially amused by the absurdity of the situation, she soon realized the weight of what Maya was facing. "This isn't just some game anymore," Priya admitted during one of their late-night talks. "People are watching you, judging you, not just here, but back home too." It was true. The contest had thrust Maya into the spotlight, and with it came scrutiny she hadn't anticipated. Social media buzzed with opinions, memes, and debates about whether someone from a humble background deserved a place in such an elite competition. Some praised her grit, others dismissed her as unworthy. Through it all, Priya stayed by her side, offering advice, encouragement, and occasional comic relief when things felt overwhelming. But the real challenge lay not in the external noise, but in confronting her own insecurities. Maya couldn't help but compare herself to the other contestants, women who seemed born for this world of glitz and glamour. They wore designer clothes, quoted famous authors, and navigated high society conversations with ease. Maya, meanwhile, struggled to pronounce some of the names of luxury brands mentioned casually in interviews. Yet, amidst the self-doubt, there were moments of triumph. When asked why she thought she belonged in the contest, Maya replied simply, "Because I'm learning. Isn't that what life is about?" The room fell silent, and even the sternest judge nodded approvingly. Meanwhile, Arjun Rai remained an enigma. Unlike the other contestants, Maya didn't obsess over meeting him or winning his approval. In fact, she barely saw him except during brief appearances at formal events. He was always impeccably dressed, his demeanor calm, yet unreadable. Rumors swirled about his past, a failed engagement, a tragic loss, but none of it mattered to Maya. What intrigued her most was the way he observed everything quietly, as if searching for something specific. During one group activity, they ended up seated next to each other. Their conversation started awkwardly, filled with polite small talk, but eventually shifted to more meaningful topics. "What do you value most in life?" he asked suddenly, catching her off guard. Without hesitation, she answered, "Family, loyalty, and the courage to stay true to yourself." His gaze lingered on her for a moment longer than necessary, before he smiled faintly and excused himself. That fleeting interaction planted a seed of curiosity in Maya's mind. Who was this man behind the title of CEO? Was he truly as cold and calculating as people claimed? Or was there more beneath the surface? These questions gnawed at her, especially as the contest grew more intense. Each elimination round narrowed the field, heightening the stakes. Friendships formed during earlier stages began to fray under the pressure, and alliances shifted unpredictably. One contestant, Meera, emerged as a fierce rival. Elegant and sharp-tongued, she made no secret of her disdain for Maya's presence. "You don't belong here," she hissed during a heated argument after a particularly grueling task. "This isn't your world." Her words stung, but instead of retreating, Maya found strength in them. "Maybe not," she shot back, "but I'm still standing." That exchange became a turning point, fueling her determination to prove not only to others, but also to herself, that she could rise above the odds stacked against her. As the final rounds approached, tensions reached a boiling point. The remaining contestants were subjected to increasingly personal challenges, designed to reveal their vulnerabilities and values. One task required them to write letters to their future selves, imagining where they'd be in 10 years. Maya, poured her soul into hers, reflecting on her journey so far, the fears, the growth, the dreams she dared to nurture. When the letters were read aloud anonymously, even the harshest critics softened at the raw emotion in her words. For the first time, Maya felt seen, not as a village girl or a reluctant contestant, but as a person with depth and purpose. Yet, just as hope began to bloom, disaster struck. A leaked video surfaced online, showing Maya struggling during an early round of the contest. Edited cleverly to highlight her mistakes, it painted her as unfit for the role of a CEO's wife. Comments flooded in, cruel and cutting, tearing down everything she'd worked so hard to build. Tears streamed down her face as she watched strangers dissect her worth, reducing her to nothing more than a punchline. Doubt crept in again, louder this time. Maybe she didn't belong here. Maybe she should walk away before things got worse. It was Arjun Rai who found her later that night, sitting alone on a balcony overlooking the city lights. She hadn't noticed him approach until he spoke softly, breaking the silence. "Why, does it matter what they think?" he asked, his voice steady. Startled, she looked up, unsure how to respond. He continued, "The world will always have opinions. What matters is what you think. Do you believe you deserve to be here?" His question hung in the air, heavy with meaning. Slowly Maya nodded, though uncertainty still lingered in her eyes. Something about his presence calmed her, offering a rare sense of clarity amidst the chaos. With renewed resolve, Maya faced the final challenge, a live debate broadcast to millions. The topic: balancing tradition and modernity in leadership. As she took the stage, nerves threatened to overwhelm her, but then she remembered her mother's words, Priya's unwavering support, and the countless villagers rooting for her despite the distance. Taking a deep breath, she began to speak, not as a contestant trying to win, but as a woman sharing her truth. By the end, the audience erupted into applause, and for the first time, Maya allowed herself to believe she might actually have a chance. But the story doesn't end here. As the results loomed closer, a shocking revelation threatened to unravel everything. Someone close to Maya harbored a secret that could change the outcome, and not just for her, but for everyone involved. With the clock ticking and stakes higher than ever, the question remains, will Maya emerge victorious, or will the forces working against her prove too powerful to overcome? Just as Maya thought she had found her footing, the shocking revelation hit. A close friend, someone she trusted, had been leaking information to the press. It wasn't Priya or her family. It was Mira, the contestant who had openly criticized her from the start. Mira's plan was simple yet devastating. Sabotage Maya's chances by painting her as unfit for the role of a CEO's wife. The leaked video that nearly broke Maya. That was Mira's doing. When confronted backstage moments before the final announcement, Mira didn't deny it. "You don't deserve this," she spat bitterly. "This contest isn't about honesty or heart. It's about power and status. And you're just a village girl playing dress up." The confrontation left Maya reeling. But instead of crumbling, something inside her shifted. She realized that while she couldn't control what others said or did, she could decide how. She responded. This wasn't just about winning a contest anymore. It was about proving to herself that she was stronger than fear, doubt, or betrayal. As the host stepped onto the stage to announce the winner, Maya stood tall, her hands trembling only slightly. The audience erupted into applause, unaware of the storm brewing behind the scenes. When the envelope was opened and her name called out, Maya Patel, the room went silent for a split second before erupting into cheers. For a moment, Maya felt frozen. overwhelmed by the magnitude of what had just happened. But then, amidst the chaos, she locked eyes with Arjun Rai. His expression was unreadable, but there was a flicker of admiration in his gaze. As she walked up to accept the title, she knew this victory wasn't just hers. It belonged to every person who ever dared to step outside their comfort zone and fight for their dreams. In his closing remarks, Arjun surprised everyone by addressing the controversy directly. This contest wasn't designed to find perfection, he said, his voice steady and commanding. It was meant to uncover authenticity, resilience, and strength. Maya reminded us all what truly matters, not where we come from, but who we choose to be. His words resonated deeply, not just with the audience, but with Maya herself. For the first time, she understood that being chosen wasn't about fitting into someone else's mold. It was about staying true to her own values. After the ceremony, Maya faced one last challenge, deciding whether to take on the role of Arjun's wife. It was a decision that carried immense weight, not just for her future, but for her identity. Sitting under the stars on the rooftop of the global tech building, she voiced her concerns to Arjun. "I didn't enter this contest to become anyone's wife," she admitted softly. "I came here because I wanted to see if I could rise above my fears. If I say yes now, I want it to be because we are equals, not because I'm filling a position." To her relief, Arjun nodded thoughtfully. "That's exactly why I chose you," he replied. "Not because you fit some checklist, but because you've shown me that courage and kindness matter more than anything else." With that, they agreed to take things slow, building a partnership based on mutual respect rather than societal expectations. Back in the village, news of Maya's win spread like wildfire. At first, some were skeptical, whispering about how such a life might change her. But when Maya returned home for a visit, bringing Priya along to share in the celebration, the villagers saw that she was still the same girl they'd always known. Humble, grounded, and full of gratitude. She used part of the prize money to renovate the tea stall, turning it into a community hub where people could gather and dream bigger together. Her journey became a beacon of hope, inspiring others to believe that no dream was too far-fetched, no path too daunting. As for Priya, she landed the job at Global Tech and moved to the city, thriving in her new role. Their friendship remained unshaken, a testament to the bond that had carried them through thick and thin. Maya often joked that Priya should get half the credit for her success, given how much she'd pushed her to embrace opportunities. Together, they proved that having someone believe in you could make all the difference. Looking back, Maya realized the contest had changed her in ways she never anticipated. It taught her to trust herself, to stand firm in the face of adversity, and to value her roots even as she reached for the stars. She also learned that titles and wealth didn't define happiness. It was the connections we nurtured and the choices we made that truly mattered. The story of the village girl who mistakenly entered a CEO's wife contest became legendary, not because of the glamour or drama, but because of the lessons it imparted. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. Success isn't measured by accolades, but by staying true to your values. And sometimes, life throws you into situations you never asked for. But those moments can lead to growth you never imagined possible. And so, Maya's journey came full circle, leaving behind a legacy of hope, resilience, and the belief that no matter where you start, you have the power to shape your destiny.